To set up the camera for backlight images, you'll need to know about the program mode, how to use the flash and flash exposure compensation, how to set the spot meter, possibly how to set the eye contrast menu item, using the ISO, and the white balance. Let's begin with the program mode. Set your mode dial to P. This stands for program, and this is what's going to give you control over the camera settings. To compensate for the lack of light on your subject, you might just want to use the flash. You'll need to force the flash on, which means press the flash button right here, it's the right navigation button, and choose Flash On. Auto flash will not fire in this case because the camera assumes there's enough light in the scene. So you want to force the flash on. Just this alone might be all you need. If the flash is too bright or not bright enough, you can set the flash exposure compensation. Go ahead and press the function button to access the function menu right here in the center. Go down to the flash exposure compensation function, and here you can use the control dial to move the orange dash back and forth. If the subject is very close to the camera, you may want to turn the flash power down. If the subject is farther away from the camera, you may want to increase the power of the flash. I recommend starting at 0 just to see where you're at. Press function to escape. If you're not interested in using the flash and you're looking for a more natural look, you might want to use the spot meter. Press the metering button right here. This will access the metering modes, and use your control dial to move between the different options. This is center weighted average. You want spot meter. What this does is only concentrate on a very small area in the center of the frame to judge the right amount of light. As long as you place these brackets in the center of the frame over your subject, the subject will be properly exposed and the background will be disregarded. You'll find that by doing this, the background becomes very, very bright. You may also want to set the eye contrast menu item. This is great for high contrast images such as backlight. Go ahead and press the menu button. Go down until you get to eye contrast. Go ahead and turn this on. Press to the right or to the left. It'll say auto, and then you can press the menu button again to escape the main menu. Now the eye contrast function is set, and what this does is try to reduce the amount of contrast or brighten up some of the shadow detail in your picture. Depending on how much contrast is in your shot, this may or may not work. The eye contrast function is also something you can add later on once you've already taken the picture, but if you do so before you take the picture, the quality will be a little bit better. If you're going to use the spot meter and you're not using the flash, then you might have to increase the ISO. Because you're now exposing for a very low lit subject, you may need to increase the ISO in order to maintain a faster shutter speed. To do so is very simple. Your ISO dial is right here underneath your mode dial. Just turn this up a little bit. You can also see the results in the back. And basically, in order to know whether you have the right ISO set, press the shutter button halfway and see what the shutter speed is set to. Currently my flash is turned on, so my shutter speed is set to 1/60th of a second. However, if my flash was turned off, now I'm at 1/50th of a second. This is just fine for hand holding. Finally, you want to make sure the white balance is properly set, just as with every picture you take. Press the function button to access the function menu. Go up to the top. If you're not using the flash and the backlight is coming from a window, for example, meaning it's daylight, set your white balance to daylight. If you are using the flash, set your white balance to flash. This way the subject will be properly color balanced. Press the function button to escape the function menu. In your scene, you may want to try a combination of these settings to see what works best for you. For example, I'll set my metering mode to center weighted average. I'll press the metering mode button to escape. I'll keep the eye contrast turned on and turn my flash on as well. And I'll keep my white balance set to flash. This will allow me to use a slower ISO so I can get a cleaner image. Turn this down to 100. Now I'll press the shutter button halfway to focus on my target. Once the focusing square has turned green, I know that the camera has locked focus. I can then recompose the image with the shutter button pressed halfway. Once the image is composed the way I want it, I'll just press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the picture.